Greetings. This is artist and photographer Jim Turlington. I'm here in my art design studio here in Central Florida. And I get a lot of people ask me, how do I create some of my artwork? Well, today I thought I would show you a little bit about the process of how I go about creating some of my artwork. And I'm going to use some reference material that I used to create a watercolor painting that I did back in 2015 of a flying wild turkey called Off the Roost. Now, what you see here are in April of late February of 2015, I went out into the woods here in Central Florida and I started watching some wild turkeys, and I spotted this one really big Florida Osceola wild turkey gobbler. So I started following this bird around over almost a 2-month period, and I took pictures of him. I've got all kinds of pictures of him. He's flying down out of the trees, he's strutting, he's walking, he's with hens. I got him challenging some other jakes that tried to challenge him, So I took a lot of reference photos of probably about 60. And actually up here at the top, you'll see some of the photos that I actually took of the bird that it was you might say the model for the painting. The actual wild turkey that was the model for the painting. And a little while later, I'll show you some more close-up pictures of the actual bird so you get a better look at him. And so one of the things that I did while I was out there, besides just taking photographs, was one morning I actually did a little field observation drawing of the gobbler as he flew down off the roost. And so I did it real quick with a black ink pen, and I did some of the limbs that were around him and everything else. And you can actually see right up here above is a little 5x7 postcard print of the actual painting. And if you look, I don't know how well you can see it in the video, but if you look, you can see the limbs here that are in an observation sketch that I did out in the woods. And here's the same limbs in the actual painting when it got done. So after I did all the field research work, I came home and I started working on several different sketches. And these sketches are the drawings that I was working on to develop for the actual painting. And I came up with this one of a flying turkey that's based on some of the photos that I took. And the moment I finished doing the pencil drawing of this flying turkey, I knew I had a winner. I knew this drawing was going to be something really, really special. And so then I sat down and I started researching everything all together. I laid out photographs and did everything, and so I started working on it. Now, another research tool that I had was this is the wing off of a Florida Osceola wild turkey gobbler that I shot back in 2004. And so I preserved that wing, and I've kept it ever since as a reference tool in my photo reference library so that I could use it as reference for my artwork. And so when I sketch out something with a turkey where I got to really show some detail on the wings, I can pull this out and look at it, and I can come back and I can say, hey, this is accurate. I know, because I've got a great wing that I preserved from a big gobbler that I shot, and I can use that as reference, and I know the detail is right in it. Now, when I completed this painting and got it all done in watercolors, my father, he saw the finished painting, and the first thing he did was whistle at it. He went like, "Wow, Jim." He says, "How are you ever going to top this painting?" he says of all the wild turkeys that you have done over the years, and see what a lot of people don't know about me is I've chased after wild turkeys since 1971 as an artist, as a photographer, as a hunter, as an independent wildlife researcher. And so I've got thousands of pictures of wild turkeys. You know, just like this binder up here. This binder up here ain't even partially full. I've got 4 of these binders in my research drawers back here. They're completely full. I can't even put another photograph in it. Plus, I've got other binders that are full of waterfowl photos that I've taken, and binders that are full of photos of pheasants, and bobwhite quail, and hunting dogs, and some of the hunters that I've hunted with, and ruffed grouse, and woodcock. You know, so I've got all kinds of research information that is my own from photos that I've taken. So I don't have to go out and borrow somebody else's photos. I got drawers full of information that I've gathered over the years that's based on my own research that I've done. But anyway, like I said, after my father saw this, he said, "Jim, how are you ever gonna top this painting?" And he told me, he says, he says, "I'll tell you what that painting looks like, and it reminds me of." He says, back when I was growing up, he said, I was about 12 years old, and I went on a wild turkey hunt up along the Suwannee River up in North Florida in Madison County, where he was born and raised on a farm up there, with one of his cousins. And just as the sun was starting to come up, we watched a bunch of wild turkeys fly across the Suwannee River over to the Madison County side, and we shot and killed 2 of them, and so he always told me that he remembered that, and sadly this was the last major art piece that my father got to see me create, because I created this in April of 2015 when I actually finished the painting. And he passed away about 4 months later. So that's in mid-August is when he passed away of 2015. So, but he really liked this painting, and so do I. And but that's only part of the story, because I held on to this painting for actually about a year. I showed it to some people. I actually had it on display in a couple of places. I had a number of people who wanted to buy it, but I just, to me something just said, just hold on to this painting for a while. And I'm glad I did, because about a year later, I got notified by Wild Turkey Bourbon that they had seen some images of this painting, of the watercolor painting, after I had completed it. And they wanted to know if they could use it as social media promotion. So myself and Wild Turkey Bourbon, we talked back and forth, and we came up with an agreement. And after the agreement was signed, they used it in a social media promotion in 2016. And it got seen by a lot of people. The finished painting got, I'm telling you, it got publicity all around the world. And it's just been amazing, the response that I've got back from people who saw images of this thing on the computer and everything. In fact, if you know where to go look on social media, on the internet, if you type in my name, Jim Turlington, and just type in also next to it, Off the Roost, you'll see an article about me creating this painting and Wild Turkey Bourbon using it in the social media promotion. And it's something I'm very, very proud of. I've done so many wild turkey paintings over the years that I tell people that, if this is the piece of wild turkey art, out of all of the pieces of wild turkey art that I've created, that I'm remembered by, that's okay, because it's a damn good piece of artwork, And so I sold the painting in the fall of 2016 to an individual who lives up in Pennsylvania. And the reason I sold it to him was because I knew this individual would take care of this painting, would really appreciate it, and he knew what he had. And I think some other people who tried to buy it just wanted to buy the painting, but they really didn't realize the piece of artwork that they were going to be getting. So the guy I sold it to, he actually owns he's bought some other pieces of artwork from me since then. And but I'm glad I sold it to him because it's he's someone that I think will really respect the artwork and take care of it, and will make sure that a lot of enjoyment comes out, not just by him, but by other people who see it as well. And so I'm really, really proud of this piece of artwork. And of all the pieces of wild turkey art that I've created, believe it or not, since I created this painting, and back in 2015, I've only created one other piece of wild turkey artwork. And that's because I just decided that I had done so much wild turkey artwork. I've accomplished everything I wanted to do with wild turkeys. So I went kind of back to my roots a little bit, and I've been doing more artworks that feature pheasants, bobwhite quail. I love bobwhite quail. I've been exposed to bobwhite quail since before I ever started the first grade, and so I absolutely love them. That's why you've been seeing people who follow my artwork. You've been seeing me doing a lot more pieces of quail art, but I've also been doing more pieces of artwork, like I said, of pheasants, of rough grouse, and I'm working on some stuff now of some woodcock, and I just recently did a painting of a sharp-tailed grouse, and that I was really pleased with after I got through with it. So what I'm trying to do at this particular point in my art design career is not so much working with wild turkeys, although I'm very proud of everything I've done with my wild turkey art over the years, extremely proud. But I just want to do some other stuff. I'm taking that same energy that I took for so many years doing all the stuff with wild turkeys, and I'm putting it back into, like I said, trying to preserve other game birds, especially quail, which here in the South we call the Little Prince of the South. That's something that's very, very important to me. My dad was a very big quail hunter, and we have one of the top quail research centers in the entire United States, right here in North Florida. It's called Tall Timbers Research Station. It's one of the best in the nation, and so I've donated some of my original artworks and prints to some of their fundraisers to help raise money for bobwhite quail research. In fact, last year in 2019, I actually donated a signed and numbered print Off the Roost to Tall Timbers, and they auctioned it off to raise money to help benefit bobwhite quail. So I'm very proud of it. But a lot of times people, they see the finished painting, but they don't see what all goes in to creating that artwork. And so that's why I wanted to show you the process, the photographs, the field observation sketch, the drawings, and and using the wing to help make sure I get the preserved wing to make sure I get all the details right. This is all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. That most of the time all they see is the finished artwork, but this is all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And this is the real work that goes on to creating the finished product, And I'm very proud of it, and I plan on doing it for a long time. And I hope you've enjoyed the little video. I've enjoyed showing you more. And like I said, stay tuned. I want to show you some other photographs of the actual turkey that I used in there. And you'll see I'll lead you through the process with photographs of how we put the whole painting together. I think you'll find it kind of interesting. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. This is Jim Turlington. Until we see you again, so long.